Extraction. Yeah, we're not going to be able to get to Dead Space 2 just yet. And that's because there's this odd little game to go through. So, for those of you who don't know, Dead Space Extraction, it was originally a Wii exclusive, and I think it was released in 2010, I believe. And I thought it was a very odd choice to have a prequel to a game that was, PS3, Xbox 360, PC, have a prequel to that, but only on the one console platform that it wasn't available on originally. But that's what it is. But thankfully, though, in the special edition of Dead Space 2, you actually get Dead Space Extraction included on the disc. It's just to be downloaded from the disc onto your console. So that's what I have here. This is the PS3 version of Dead Space Extraction. And you can play it with the Wii remotes, the PlayStation Move remotes, whatever they are. But I don't have that, so I'm just using a controller, so I don't have to bother with motion controls, because I don't like them. So, pretty much starts right off the bat. This is, again, a prequel to Dead Space 1, so we are on the Aegis 7 colony, right as they are about to extract the marker. And we play as Sam Caldwell, that's right. This is his girlfriend, Lexine Murdoch. And, shout out to her accent, by the way. I'm bad at determining between Irish and Scottish. It's one of those, I think. Dead Space Extraction. Dun dun dun. And, yeah, big dramatic music and stuff. I like this little tease that they do here. Coming up, it's just a little camera angle trick, and it's, that. It starts you off with that third person look to make you think like, oh, it's like Isaac, but no, this is a first person on the rails shooter. So, I mean, I'm not a big fan of on the rails type stuff, but considering that the Wii is all about, motion controls and free aiming and stuff, I like that. At least with this game, they made it on the rails, so you didn't have to bother, trying to move while you're trying to aim and stuff like that. Keeps it simple in that regard. However, there is a very big annoying thing with this game, and you'll see it. It's the fact that half the time I'm not really even paying attention to the story. I'm just shooting everything in the background and spamming kinesis to grab the items, and you pretty much have to do that for the whole game, because there's a lot of moments somewhere your character turns for half a second and you have to quickly register the item and kinesis it, right? What's that? I don't know. Kill it. Kill it with fire. Yeah, that is the marker, and yeah, this area should look familiar if you played Dead Space 1, or if you watched my Dead Space 1 video, shameless self-promotion, right? So, yeah, I'm sure I'll have plenty of time throughout to talk about the story, but basically this is the mining ship, the USG Ishimura, operating in restricted space, Aegis 7, and they had a mining colony set up, and here they unearthed the marker, ancient unitologist artifact. there's Ascension, Convergence. Isaac, Convergence is coming. Yeah, so this intro is to get you adjusted to the controls and the style, and I like, of course, that they've kept with the theme that all of your guns are kind of, modified mining tools. This main one being the Rivet Gun. So, like in Dead Space 1, you have alternate fires for all the weapons, and the alternate fire in the Wii version, it's engaged by, like, pointing your gun gangsta style, like turning the gun sideways, like you're Bruce Willis in Fifth Element. But thankfully, just on PS3, you just have to hit a button to switch fire mode. So the regular fire is just, a simple shot, and the alt fire on the Rivet Gun is, like is a charged shot, does more damage. There's also like an active reload, I guess you call it, where you reload, and if you hit reload again, when like the little meter going around the circle is in the right spot, you get a fast reload. Otherwise you get a slow reload. It's kind of a nice system, keeps you intense, keeps you focused on the reloading. And yeah, here we go, we're taking the marker out, and I'm sure nothing bad whatsoever is gonna come of this, everything's gonna be perfectly fine. Oh god, that's bright. Yeah, well, what do you know, moving the Cthulhu statue was, not the best idea, right? We've awakened the Lord. And I'm guessing at this point, like, they haven't necessarily terraformed Aegis 7. Because, like, at the end of Dead Space, we saw that Kendra was walking around outside without a helmet. But we see that later, not everyone's wearing helmets outside, so I'm guessing, like, between this scene and later scenes that they've terraformed a planet or something, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'll, be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of this game, and it's mainly just, like, the style of game it is, the gameplay and the overall fact that, it's a Wii motion-controlled on-the-rails shooter, as opposed to, third-person survival horror, action-adventure stuff, sci-fi-ness, right? Like, it's definitely a different style, but I do like the story and everything to it, right? You get to see the colony before the big necromorph outbreak, and eventually we're gonna get to go back to the Ishimura, and you get to see some familiar places. You also get to see some new places. There's a couple of new enemies here and there, a couple new boss fights, right? So it was a cool concept, and even though I'm not the biggest fan of the style, I am glad that I, played this game and pushed on through it. I will say that this is the PS3 version, but actually I did play the version on the Wii when it came out. So if you're gonna at me in the comments about, I'm cheesing it by just using a controller, not having to actually motion control aim, well, I did back in 2010 when it came out, so, I did that. And I will say that there's actually some pretty well done creepy horror moments in this game. I would still argue that it's not that scary, right? It's definitely more of a thrill ride than a horror. But there's some really cool, creepy moments to this. And so, there you go, right? There's a big moment going on, but I'm more concerned about grab the goodie. And, it also doesn't doesn't really start off that easy. Because, oh god, wow, I killed the dude. Like, these enemies you fight at the start are humans, so, I mean, they're weak to headshots, which is different from necromorphs. And they move a lot faster and more erratic than necromorphs. So there I've got the rock saw, right? Melee weapon. Very nice. Yeah, it's definitely more difficult in a way to fight these human enemies, because they just, like, run and charge at you, and yeah, they're weaker. But necromorphs usually take their time, and since you encounter a lot of them, it's usually that only one or two of them is actually able to hit you. The rest are kind of like stuck behind them waiting, because again, it's on the rails style arcade shooter, you know, like the whole House of the Dead type stuff. And I just got all of them. I don't think this door was here last time in Dead Space 1. That's cheesing it a bit, I think. But you know, this is a cool bit, like we were in an area that we recognized, and now we're gonna go out of bounds in a way to some new stuff, right? And I think for the most part, all of these new environments that they've thrown in have meshed pretty well with the style of Dead Space 1. I gotta say, this is a pretty huge colony and very impressive. Like, I'm surprised they set all this up before they discovered that marker. I don't know how exactly it works, but, you know, pretty impressive stuff. Again, just to reiterate, the style of this video is unlike all the other ones where I talk about bosses. This has more of a focus on the gameplay and the story, because if I just did the bosses for these games, it would be pretty short. Like, there's really only 2 real bosses in this game, I think. There's not even like an actual final boss. Come to think of it, you just fight a whole bunch of enemies. And what's this other guy's name? Is it Egan? Alright, he's obviously starting to go a little crazy, you know. Ah, yes, my beautiful, beautiful plasma cutter. Oh, you are so good. And they have not nerfed you yet, like they did in Dead Space 3, unfortunately. No, plasma cutter's still pretty awesome in this one. Although, Rivet Gun is actually pretty nice. Like, it's definitely a gun you're gonna want to get good at in this. Oh, sorry, jump scare, by the way. Once again, there's no audio jump scares because you can't hear the game audio, because you're supposed to listen to my rambling ofness at whatever. But if there's visual jump scares, you know, like a guy suddenly pops up on screen and jumps at the camera, like, I can try to warn you about that, but I can't really, you know, protect you, per se. I forget what the melee button is. Is it L2, I think? Yeah, the trick is you just want to be able to aim while you're constantly spamming the melee button, so that you can't be touched. That's how you do it. Oh, come on, Egan. You had one too many edibles, okay? Just chill out. Nope, he's not chilling out. Yep, I guess I should. Oh, wow, that was a weird animation. Of course, even when you do use the melee, it doesn't protect you all the time. But yeah, stuff's going down. Stuff's getting real bad. You also get these moments sometimes where, like, you're allowed to, like, look around, and those are annoying because, like, sometimes it's a very quick moment of looking around, and if you don't do it, then you've missed an upgrade, and there's no, like, mid-level checkpoints. Like, you get revives you can unlock, but is pretty brutal. And that's how you find the upgrades for guns, the power nodes. You know, like audio logs, we don't care about that much, but power nodes are important. And here, of course, we have the Stasis Module, and that's represented by the 3 little extra rectangular symbols on your reticule. And Stasis is, of course, your best friend, especially when you've got large clumps of enemies. And I'm so glad that I'm not using motion controls, because these little hacking puzzles can get really annoying when they throw all the little red bits of death like you're playing Operation. Very frustrating with motion controls indeed. So, there we go. We've re-established the tether, but now we're gonna need to go and fix the oxygen. Lexine, you're too pure for this world. Like, we're gonna meet more characters eventually, but I said it in Dead Space 1, I like all the multitudes of multicultural accents in these games, you know. We got like American, kind of uptight British, and Irish, all different accents here and there. I like it. I don't know. Accents are nice. I'm sure most people can empathize with me on that a nice accent is nice. But, yeah, a whole bunch of unitologists just pulled like a whole Jonestown Massacre thing, or whatever it is, you know, drink the Kool-Aid and stuff, so now we gotta go restore power to life support. Again, because they haven't terraformed this colony. But who knows, they might fix it later. But yeah, so there's an audio lock there that I missed because I wasn't able to look in time at the other thing. Like, that's just the real frustrating thing with this game is you're constantly losing immersion in the story and the characters because you're too busy spamming kinesis at all the little glowy goodies around the edges of the screen. So you're not really focused on that, you're just focused on, oh, is there a goodie coming up? And some of the bits, again, they show up out of nowhere, where you have a couple seconds to grab a goodie. I don't know how I would have changed it. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll come up with an idea later. Oh wow, that's creepy, you know, just, we're getting a message. Getting a message from a dead guy. Again, this first level actually has some pretty good creepy moments to it if you can get past the awkward gameplay and stuff like that, right? Oh god, get away from me. Oh wait, no. That was just an illusion. Again, with the first person camera stuff and the on the rails, they can do a lot of good creepy moments, right? Like that. That was a good scare. A lot of nice moments like that. It's something that obviously you couldn't do too much of in Dead Space 1 because there aren't really many cutscenes in it, and not really lots of like scripted stuff. But in the first person mode you can control everything that's being seen by the character in the on the rails stuff, and I think they utilized it pretty well. I'll say pretty well. So that's good. And the end of this mission is gonna hit us with quite the emotional gut punch. Like, this creepy demons, weird motion blurs and stuff, everything's going crazy. And my aim is garbage. And, you know, we're just like shooting all these people. They're not necromorphs, they're just weird people, but they're there, but they're not. It's a pretty dark, brutal opening. Like, you never like killed a regular human when you're Isaac in Dead Space 1. obviously the human enemies come later, but, you know, they're crazy religious zealots. We don't care about those types of people, right? So yeah, it's a dark intro to the game, and really gets you in the zone for it. And that's why I try to just push through the awkwardness, right? Try to do what I can. And, oh, we're shot. What happened? And, yeah, here's the big twist coming up that, like, the whole time you thought that you were sane and everyone else was crazy. And, you know, we were just defending ourselves. No, apparently we were the crazy person and everyone else was fine. All these people never did anything to hurt you. Right? And, yeah, we dead now. Wow, that's, pretty brutal, right? And that's such a good twist and a haunting marker. Sam, I love you. And, oh, by the way, this is bull, because you may have noticed I had a profile already, because I played through the first level, like, doing tests for, like, recording and playing, and in my test run, I got 5 stars, and now I did it for realsies when I was recording, and I only got 4 stars. I say bollocks to that. By the way, I'm drinking a white summer, because we're gonna come up to those very hot and brutal summer months that I'm not a fan of, because I like winter and rain and weather and indoors and shade, not dying of heat and constantly being dehydrated. So a white summer, it's you take a beer, Kronenberg Blanc 1664, and you mix that with a Summersby apple cider, about a 50-50 split. It's very delicious indeed. So this here is Gabe Weller, and we are Sergeant McNeil. So basically, weird security crisis, you know, and lots of weird stuff's going on, you know, people going cray-cray. And of course, this is because of the marker, right? People are starting to go insane. These are kind of our 2 main characters. Sam McNeil, who will play as for most of the game, but we're also going to play as Gabe Weller for a little bit here and there. And again, I like that there's some pacing to this, you know. We had that bit at the start where it was all kind of calm, just uncovering the marker. And now we've got some red shirts to introduce. And we're just going to go on a little routine stroll to the morgue. Of course, you know, stuff's going to go down, right? And it's also nice because, you know, with the whole no checkpoints and everything, and the on-the-rails stuff being a little insane, it can be difficult to kind of adjust to this. So it's nice to give you time to, like, get used to the way the style and the gameplay is going to work, and you have plenty of time to just, you know, spam kinesis in the background, right? Yeah. So, meanwhile, thousands of miles away, we get to the morgue, and I spam kinesis some more. And, ooh, all the bodies are gone. Ooh, what could be going on, you know? Again, I like that even though we already know, like, what's going on, that the game still takes its time with it, right? We gotta know the characters, right? And, again, I like the story to this game, and I like the characters, I like the concept, and it's also cool that we got a DLC the survivors of this game in Dead Space 2, you know, Dead Space Severed. Yeah, oh wow. Okay, so this guy did attack me, so, you know, I think I'm in the right here. Nice stasis. Oh wow, that was very odd indeed. I guess we didn't have tasers or anything, you know. It's not appropriate. 2021. Sorry. So yeah, moving along. I think this is where I get the revive. Yeah, anytime anyone says it's calling to us, just shoot them right now, instantly. So I got a revive back. That's good. I'm not sure how frequently the game gives you revive stims, because I didn't actually need to use this one for quite some time. But I don't know if, you know, I would have gotten more had I needed them. And, yeah, wow. It's, like, total anarchy right now. Everyone's going crazy. They're all indoctrinated by the power of the Reapers, and, that's not going to be our only Mass Effect comparison, right? Oh, EA, you great company that just ruined everything, right? Yeah, I mean, maybe the whole idea with this game was to make it a Wii-specific exclusive so that, you know, those people who couldn't play Dead Space 1 had something to play on the Wii, you know, just to get that last console added to the list of ones. I don't know. Or maybe the idea was that people would buy a Wii specifically for this game. I'm not sure. No. Like I said, I got the PS3 version now with the Dead Space 2 Special Edition, so I'll take it. I don't know, though, if, like, you can buy this off the store or anything. I'm not sure how it works. And then I had heard that they were shutting down the PS3 store, but now they might not be because everyone complained. I never know what's going on these days. And wow, what do you know? The guy that was going all crazy and stuff, turns out that he's going all crazy and starting to fight. That was a cheap hit that you got on me, dude. Oh well, headshot. Yeah, the PSEC pistol, I don't really like it. I feel like it's just there for, like, you know, lore accuracy, you know, that, like, hey, they're all cops, so they're gonna have pistols, so you have a pistol, but I don't know, I'd just rather use the Rivet Gun that has infinite ammo. That's why you gotta make sure you get good with it, or good old plasma cutter that can't be beat, right? And here we go, first of many welding segments. You know, come help me shut this door. So we're gonna barricade ourselves in. And of course, gotta make sure you use your charge shots. And I'm really glad I don't have to do the whole, you know, 90-degree gangster grip thing, because that was pretty annoying to do on the Wii. You know, you'd get that bit where you're like kind of part way to be able to turn it to alt fire, but not really. Now it's just you press a button and there you go. And here we go. The first instance of hinting about necromorphs. Aim for the limbs. You know, go for the limbs. Dismember them. Oh, what could it be? Something else. And we're coming up to the first necromorph encounter, and I like it. It's kind of just unceremonious in a way. It's just we're walking around, and then all of a sudden, bam, necromorph. You know, they didn't give it a big dramatic entrance like Dead Space 1 or anything like that. It's just, oh, they're there. And man, I love how nonchalant the reaction is. Like, oh, life's dandy. Aliens trying to kill us. Just another day at the office. Am I right, boys? But it's interesting because, in a way, the necromorphs are they'll charge at you, but other times they like to take their time heading over, right? Whereas I feel like the human enemies, they're very erratic, and they run around a lot, and they dodge and they duck and weave and stuff like that. Whereas here they're a lot more chill, and they wind up their attacks more. But I think they take more damage. You can't just get one nice good headshot or limb shot to take them down. So, there's a balance. That's kind of my advice. Like, if you find the human enemies really annoying and difficult to deal with, if you just push through, you get to the necromorphs in the second chapter, and then it's not as bad of a thing to handle. And, oh, who is this? It's Lexine. What's she doing here? Well, I'm pretty sure she was looking for evidence about her father or something, because, her boyfriend, Sam Caldwell, well, we kind of, dealt with him. Was I also call him McNeil Sam? It's Sam Caldwell and Nate McNeil. Something, I don't know. I'm messing up the names now. I mean, Sam McNeil fits. They wouldn't put two Sams in a video game, would they? It's Sam and McNeil. That's what it is. But yeah, we like Lexine. She's cool. We will defend our Lord and Savior Lexine. And yeah, remember, there's always Bang. So yeah, obviously, first step is, GTFO, right? Let's get the hell off this planet. And of course, getting out is not going to be as easy as it seems, right? And yeah, we're going to bring Lexine along because, one, of course, she's awesome, and two, like, what are we going to just tell her to go home without us? And there we go. Come with us, right? We'll defend you. I also, slight spoiler for this game and Dead Space Severed, but I do think it's cute that, Gabe's all like, she's your responsibility, but, that they eventually end up together. That's nice. So, shoot this panel so you can open the armory. You'll get yourself a trophy and a whole lot of nice stuff, like a pulse rifle. Oh yeah. Yeah. Very nice indeed. And all the ammo. Yeah, I kind of realized later on, like, pulse rifle, you kind of want to have that, like, or the plasma cutter on you at all times, because some of the moments you really, really need a spray and pray weapon, so that you don't have to worry about pinpoint accuracy. You'll see what I mean when we got to a certain boss later on that was like the absolute bane of my existence. So yeah, a lot of dead people, and oh, that's an effector. It's kind of interesting how some of the necromorphs get introduced a lot earlier than they did before. And that's where I kind of realized, like, oh no, he's gonna infect all those other people and get down you. Did I get him yet? Okay, I got him, good. Got a pulse rifle, very nice. And this is usually how the majority of the gameplay fights will be centered around, and that's, you guys do a thing, well, I hold off the waves of baddies, right? Which is why I don't think I'm gonna show too many gunfights, because I don't have too many interesting things to say. It's not like there's a lot of fun giant kill rooms in this like there were in Dead Space 1. The environments are alright, but nothing nearly as cool and unique as in the other games. So it's just kind of like, hey, here's a fight, and the bad guys are slowly walking towards you, go for the limb pretty sick pistol. Worked all right there. And yeah, that's an escape shuttle, but something ain't right. Oh dear. That's bad. It's coming right for us. If you recall, there was an audio log describing that event in Dead Space 1. You know, shuttle crashed and took out every other shuttle in the bay. That's it. We're done for. And then there was also like the animated comics. Was it Downfall? I think was the animated comics, and I was following some people in this same scenario. And then there was Aftermath, which is like the animated prequel to Dead Space 2, and that was odd and like changes styles a lot, like it's the Animatrix or something. I like how Strauss, how he goes from like weird nerd to like, you know, macho badass guy, and they have to throw the One Ring into Mount Doom, and it's odd. And yeah, this is you know, Colonial Mining Director Warren Eckhart. Quite sure I hitched a ride on it from the Ishimura yesterday. None of you will, Sergeant. I can't do snooty English accents. It's weird. I like to do all kinds of accents, you know. Like, I like to do an Irish accent here and there. This is like Sean Murdoch. And, you know, I'm looking for my boyfriend, Nate McNeil. And, you know, I like to do the Russian accent, some things like that, you know, the vodka and things like that, you know, the Mother Russia. And then I also like to do a German accent, right? Like, perhaps something like Caleb from D&D, Critical Role, right? This is a German accent. Then if you modify it a bit, it becomes small, the Icelandic accent, like a Sigaros interview. But for the life of me, I can't do English that well. Maybe I'll just have to do a whole video of testing out different accents, you know. See if it gives you some of the extra tingliness for all that ASMR sensation. Here we go. This is, so if I didn't mention before, this game actually has a co-op mode, which is pretty nice. But unfortunately, this game has a co-op mode, and so that means moments like that, they don't adjust themselves for single player, right? Like, it's supposed to be in, hey, 5 stars, nice. It's supposed to be in co-op that, like, one person has to do the first section of hacking, and the second person has to defend, and then it swaps. Then the next one, the player 2, has to do the next hack segment. Chapter 3, Return to the Mech Events. But in single player, it's just like, yeah, guess you'll die, because you have to do the hacking while you're being attacked by hordes of enemies. So, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's pretty aggravating. So here's some guy who's wearing a red shirt. And, oh, look at that. They're coming out of the vents. Wow. Classic, right? Oh, yeah, keep them coming. Just keep them coming. I get my melee failed, but, you know, that's just how I do it, right? Is I spam melee while trying to shoot. Needless to say, I'd like to think I got pretty half-decent at multitasking in this game. Almost as good as my godly, if I do say so myself, multitasking of claw grip in Nier Automata, or Automata, however you want to say it. I included this part because I think it's hilarious that we're like going through all the effort to like barricade this one vent. It's like we put all these plates on it for like one vent that we're gonna walk away from and never come back to. Great, we've barricaded one these like weird organic barriers, so you just gotta use your rock saw on them. And oh wow, a flying enemy, right? And it's weird. I think I mentioned this in Dead Space 1. I always thought there was gonna be flying enemies in it, even though I had never heard that there was going to be. And then there wasn't. And then in this game, there is flying enemies, and they're like exactly how I thought the flying enemies in Dead Space 1 were going to be. Is weird. I remember as well, I had a dream one time about like a creature that was like, the Guardians, the wall monsters. I had a dream about like a creature that was what created those Guardians. But we never saw that one, so I did not predict that. However, you know, that would have been interesting if I did. I'm just showing this because if you go down this path, you get, you know, extra little trophy room with some goodies and stuff. Power nodes and, that's a tentacle monster. I don't like it. And I don't know if it's meant to be that, like, Lexine is the, damsel in distress or not, or oh god, that's bad. Oh, I don't want to shoot Red Shirt guy. He can just die to the alien button. Alright. Alright, I'll shoot him. I don't want to do that though, but yeah, oh, that's brutal. Man, I feel like it's interesting. We're gonna find out that Lexine is special because she's supposed to be like what the unitologists believe is the one for the Oracle program, who's like not affected by the marker at all. And that's interesting because I also feel that like everything's going out of its way to try to kill her. And this bit I had to include because of this one line coming up, and oh no, it's over. They've got the high ground. Oh really, you've got the high ground? Well, I've got my good old friend Mr. 9mm over here. Yeah. How's that for your high ground, huh? Oh, okay, we've got the equal ground now. So again, remember, it's not that Obi-Wan needs the high ground to win. It's that he just needs the high ground to exist in some form, even if he doesn't have it, right? He won against Darth Maul because there was the height difference, right? He lost to Dooku because there was no concept of high or low ground in that fight. And he won against Anakin because he had the high ground. And I can't do my, you know, active reload at all, apparently. But yeah, see, that's the trick. It's not about having the high ground. It's about the high ground in some form existing. I think I'm also not really showing all the different guns. They're mostly just the same from Dead Space 1. I think I have the flamethrower now. Oh god, this is another pretty cool moment because the whole time in Dead Space 1, you know, they told you, like, stay out of the vents, stay away from the vents. The vents are where all the enemies spawn, right? If you see a vent, you gotta keep in mind that an enemy could be spawning out of that. And then in this game, they're just like, alright, let's go through the vents, you know? Oh god. And so I do like these moments. That's pretty nice. And look out, everyone. This is the timestamp where Tars starts making a comparison to Alien. But in this case, it's not really like Aliens. The vent scene in Alien. It's the vent scene in Aliens. Because, you know, there's that bit in Aliens where they go in the vents and, like, you see, like, the silhouettes of the xenomorphs, like, crawling through the tubes, and there's, like, the red emergency lights. And that's definitely the vibe I get here when you see, like, the leapers in the distance, right? like that all from a distance. Yeah, a definite Aliens vibes there, and we're like shooting at them. So even though, you know, I hate that these guys are really fast and they don't seem to get stunned by melee, you know, yeah, there you go, flamethrower for your alien references. I do think that's a cool style to it. Oh, did he die? That's the another thing, like, come on, could you not just, like, look down the vent for, like, half a second longer so I could pick up the ammo, please? Or the hell if it's important. Yeah. This is annoying. I'm like, can you, okay, thank you. Please go into my line of vision so I can shoot you. But yeah. I mean, obviously this is my least favorite of the Dead Space games, and that's just because it's, you know, well, I mean, I guess Dead Space 3 of the main three is the dark horse, black sheep of the franchise, but, oh, okay, I got it, it's okay. This is even more so because of its awkwardness in terms of being completely different, I guess. There's also, like, the Dead Space mobile game, which I never played. And then there's the Dead Space Ignition, which I played the demo of it, and I, for the life of me, couldn't even beat the first level. And it's like a line game, and you gotta, like, move your little line. It's like, I don't know, I feel like we're racing sperm or something like that. Sorry. Yeah, I did not enjoy that level of Dead Space Ignition, and even if I wanted to try to stick with it, you know, I couldn't even beat the first level. So you will not be seeing a Dead Space Ignition video from me. We're just doing the main three Dead Space games and a figured Extraction, because, you know, it was about time I replayed it. Also, who's driving their car that loudly around at like 2 in the morning? Come on, I'm trying to record a video about violent video games here. Please, have some respect. This is what I get for moving to a more populated area. Oh dear. If I had to drink every time I had to edit out police sirens in my videos, I'd probably be drinking the same amount that I normally do in these times, year of our Lord 2021. 2021 would be better, they said. It would be an improvement, they said. Everything would magically get better, they said. Like, just because I'm right that it didn't automatically get better doesn't mean that I want it to be. You know, I'll just make that clear. Most of the time when I make predictions about things, I want to be proven wrong, but I know that I won't be. Oh, and here we go, a lovely cover me segment, and, you know, they even say, oh, Neil, we'll cover you. And they don't actually. I call bullshit on that. Yeah, so this is definitely a lot more straightforward if you have 2 players. Of course, if you have 2 players and your other player sucks at doing these parts of the puzzles, maybe it's more difficult, I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know how they could have changed. Maybe if it was like you were actually being covered by your NPCs, would have been nice. And, so yeah, this is the executive shuttle. I am Mr. Warren, executive clearance. And, yeah, obviously lots of these tentacles, because that's all from the hive mind. And I thought he was dead there with how, like, confident he was walking in and all slow. And I think I said Baines and Hutchins, did they get on another shuttle? It's kind of weird. I think they die at some point, and it always just skips past me. That's how little I'm paying attention, right? I mean, maybe they did die, and I just didn't notice. I mean, they're red shirts, right? What do we care? And hey, this is a pretty cool escape segment, right? Like that's the hive mind right there, right? That's the Lord. I don't know if you noticed, but for some reason I heard the line like, heads up, they've got the high ground again. It's funny because I've got the high ground now. Because guess what? I'm in a most suckless spaceship going to outer space. You can't stop me now. And yeah, there we go. We have escaped the colony. Very nice indeed. So, we've suffered through that early bit. Now we're getting to the real fun coming up. That is, we get to go back to the Ishimura. And, it's definitely an improvement, I think, because there's a lot more, you get the nostalgia factor of recognizing the environments, and also, you get to see new areas, little bits that you never saw before. I think they really take advantage of that, and for the most part, I don't think they cheat that much with the geography of the ship. I think it's all pretty relatively the same. Like, they did their homework in how everything was designed. And, yep, wouldn't be a 2000s game without a turret section, right? But, it's a cool thing, right? I think it was just a thing that, we had to have an ADS segment. Because the first one had an ADS segment, right? And, yeah, you gotta shoot the big glowy ones. Those are the ones that are coming right for us. So yeah, as always, don't get cocky, kid. It's funny enough, there is a trophy associated with this segment, but it's not for doing well, it's for doing worse. And you have to survive this segment with like less than 10% health. You gotta get your head in the game. You gotta get your head in the game. I don't know if that's gonna be cringe for people. I know there's a lot of people who are just like, oh my god, High School Musical, my childhood, yes. And I'm just like, it's got that basketball song, I guess, and Vanessa and Hutchins is alright. That's about all I care. I'm trying to get my head in the game, okay? But there's only so high you can turn up your sensitivity in this game, I swear. But that's actually the end of the asteroid part. 64%, not bad. Maybe it could have been 5% higher, would have been better. So, our Baines and Hutchins on that other shuttle. Again, I feel bad. They were my partners, and I just didn't even notice if they died or not, but we don't see them at the end of the game, so I guess they did. I see, it's funny, because, like, the Ishimura, oh god. They had some pretty hardcore quarantine protocols, shoot upon anything that approaches. But they were doing all that when there were already necromorphs on the ship. So, it's kind of the thing that maybe humanity should have noticed. They should have noticed that, yes, a real harsh quarantine is important, but if the bad stuff is already going on in the place where you are, you should probably be doing something to fix that, right? What do I know? this is you gotta shoot all the ADS defense blasts, right? You know, in terms of on the rails, I guess having a turret section in an on the rails game makes sense, right? It's pretty cool. It's kind of interesting to be on the receiving end, you know. Like we all knew about the ADS cannons in Dead Space 1, and now we see what it's like to be on the end of it, right? And yeah, we're coming in hot. It's alright. It's only ever the helicopter pilot that dies in the crash, right? Also, there was like a total stock sound effect scream. Like, yeah, pretty odd. So, by the way, I'm sorry I included this part because it's for a trophy, okay? And it's to admire the view in the shuttle, okay? Yeah, the game rewards you for being a perv and checking out that view. Okay, I do not advise doing that in real life. That's wrong. That's not consensual. But it's just a video game, so just don't at me, okay? I did it for the trophy. I am a very respectful individual, by the way, just saying. So, anyway, we gotta do a bunch of space jumps now, again, to get to an airlock. And I guess apparently I'm supposed to be shooting all the little zappy bits around because I took damage from that, so pretty sure you're just supposed to just kinesis these all the way. Yeet. And yeet. And yeet. There we go, very nice. And now once again we hack into this airlock. And this is a fun little bit, something that I always had kind of thought about, and it's, yeah, you can just kinesis a person, right? She's flying away, I'm like, could I just, like, kinesis her? Like, actually, yes, you can. That's pretty cool. I always wondered if it could have been done. Again, that's like, I think, strike 2 for, like, it seems like the universe is out to kill Lexine. Oh, I so wish we could have gotten closure on her story, but alas, we did not. So here we are, we're back to the Ishimura, and this is a shuttle bay. And I guess there's just a lot of shuttle bays like this, because we go to like 2 different shuttle bays in this game, and then there's the shuttle bay in Dead Space 1, which also must be a different one, because we're going to try to escape on one of these shuttles, you know. And, yeah, let's look at some security feeds and see how everything's going. And, oh, what are we going to find? Is everything going to be peachy keen A-okay? Oh, no. Would you look at that there, here? And I'm guessing, like, I'm just like, you don't believe that? Well, no, but, you know, I'm just trying to comfort the lady, okay? Just trying to be respectful, you know? Goody first, then kill. Kill, kill. And I'm guessing that's just like the infections here, because they brought the marker up, and then people went insane and killed themselves, and then the dead bodies turned into necromorphs. And, oh, look at that. That's a real dead body. Nah, you can't fool me with that jump scare. I was ready for those fake dead bodies in all of Dead Space 1. I've done my training. And, yeah, there's all these other cool guns you can use, you know, you got the arc welder, which is like a lightning arcing gun, it's pretty nice, and, you know, contact beam, line gun, force gun, all those things. I like the flamethrower in this, because it's actually got a pretty decent range, but if you just get good with the Rivet Gun, it's a lot more straightforward, because then you don't have to worry about ammo, right? But not as powerful and requires pinpoint accuracy. because of this whole, like, black box thing, right? But also it's odd because this guy, you can't hear it, but it's just the same breath and screaming as Isaac. Alright, it's pretty odd. Didn't they also do that with Gabe's breathing? I'm not sure. No, they gave him unique screams, I'm not sure. And, yeah, there we go, we found a security team. And, yeah, for some reason they tased me. I don't know. I would have cooperated with you dudes. And there we go. Next chapter 4, Rendezvous with Fate. Only 4 stars again, though. Disappointed. So, coming up next in chapter 5, we're gonna get a bit of a sort of, oh damn, oh shit moment coming up. And, that is, guess who is alive right now and hanging around? Who's that over there? That person looks familiar. She sounds the same. Is that Nicole? Oh, we can tell she's scanning Lexine right now. Something's up with her. You can't see anything right now. I don't have to blur out anything in this video, do I? I hope not. Warren Eckhart, awake. Why are we keeping this dude around? He does nothing but complain. And yep, Nicole Brennan, senior medical officer. Oh shit, man, she's not dead yet. What? I know at this moment, first time, was definitely like a, oh wow moment. You know, I was not expecting that. I don't know what I was expecting, but you know. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm wondering exactly how fast the Ishimura deteriorated. Like, her being alive right now kind of throws the timeline off a little bit, because I always thought the implication was that, like, the Ishimura had been dark, like radio silent for a long time, and that's like when they sent the Kellyan, and you know, like, Isaac volunteers the mission, like, I'm gonna go on this, like, he's heard about this. But unless, like, light speed is a very fast thing in the Dead Space universe, like, she sends out her message that she's killing herself, and then, like, a couple hours later, barely even an hour later, the Kellyan's there. So I don't know, the timeline seems a little off there. I don't know, but at least they didn't take my guns away. That's nice. I always don't like when the game just, like, forces you to lose your inventory, right? I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the Gaming Sins channel, but, you know, like, you know, losing your weapon in a cutscene means you lose all your guns, right? I included this part because I like the vents part, except for when there's a bunch of the little swarm guys. Like, how am I supposed to kill them? Like, they just jump on me like forever away, and I just shoot in a panic. I don't like it. And here's a cool bit. We're going around in medical, and we got to go through the 0G therapy room, right? And there's flying enemies, and I, like, nearly died to these guys. I don't know why I was having such trouble with them, but it was just like, I don't know, it just wasn't happening. I just started panicking, and, like, what I probably should have done was use my spray and pray pulse rifle, right? Yeah. I mean, it's a combination of me being not a good shot, and also them seeming to take more damage, and then me just panicking and being an even worse shot. So let's just save me through the power of editing. So the gravity's off in this room. That would explain why the gravity was off when we came in as Isaac. And there's a lot of nice little moments like that in this game, you know, kind of like just setting up and explaining why a few things are the way they are. And so that's why this is a cool moment coming up, because anyone who's played Dead Space 1 remembers, well, this was a zero-G area before, and like it was all blown open, and wait, this is supposed to be outside. This doesn't make any sense. And that's why, because it all of a sudden decompresses like that. So, yeah, I thought that was a cool little moment, you know. Definitely, you walk through there and you're like, wait a minute. Yeah, nice moment. Also nice is that there's still goodies floating out in there that you can grab. Right? You know, I learned from Dead Space 1 to always look out into space to grab the goodies. Especially in this game, when if you don't grab the goodies in like a second, they disappear. Of course, in this one, no guy's gonna show up when he's not supposed to, you know. Then further along in the vents, here we are now in the morgue. Right? And I remember this, there was like lots of bodies over the place and it was all bloody, and nope, there's just all the necromorphs. Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, it's not a boss fight. We still haven't had a boss fight yet, but I feel like this battle was definitely a more large-scale battle. Don't mind me, necromorph, I'm just getting my goodies. Always get the goodies. Real priority. Again, if you get the aim right, you can pretty much stun lock them. Of course, I was not realizing that there was infectors. If I had, I probably should have maybe actually focused on killing before the goodies, but you know, if you're a good enough shot with your Rivet Gun, then you don't have to worry too much about ammo, thankfully. Also, line gun, very, very powerful in this game, as long as you don't get grabbed like that. Yeah, line gun's great, just the only issue is that very slow traveling bullets, and the mines are a lot more useful in this. Because like in Dead Space 1, it wasn't a guarantee that an enemy would walk near your mine or that it would stay near it for the explosion. This is a nice, very great scare here. Jump scare, by the way. Again, you can do more subtle horror moments with the on-the-rails first person. And there was definitely some moments that made me jump. Like that, right? What did I just see? What? Oh, yeah, Captain's dead. He did. You know, not that we didn't know that already. But, again, though, apart from the first chapter with the whole, like, mindness thing of, like, that you were the insane one and everyone else was fine, like some Lovecraftian sort of thing, or some Twilight Zone stuff, nothing else was really, like, straight up horror scary. But lots of good jump moments, that's for sure. If you don't do well with those moments, then it might get to you. So yeah, Captain's dead. Let's move on. And this is another cool bit, because again, just another kind of jump, and oh my god, new necromorph. Oh, you're the pregnant one. Let's not pop that belly of yours, right? You know, this she's thick girl, you know. It's the baby mama necromorphs, right? And there's another one here, and here I'm using the arc welder, right? Which that was a gun that wasn't in any of the other Dead Space ones, and yeah, it's actually pretty nice. Not a nice when there's a pregnant one there, but you know, it's got like a chained arc effect to it, right? Like a chain lightning sort of thing, but also a very slow reload.
So, you know, you can get multiple groups of enemies with it. Like, look at that. That's actually pretty nice. I just find also with it being on rails, like, you know, you never go to a store and buy ammo. Oh, the power cell's out of the door. Oh, sorry, Isaac. You know, so like, you'll go through long stretches where the game doesn't give you ammo for certain guns, right? Like PSEC pistol, like, that's pretty much discarded once you get to the Ishimura, except for when you have to play as Gabe. You know, so arc welder, you don't get much ammo for it, but I like this bit here because it was another kind of case of walking around and, you know, knowing this layout backwards, like, hey, there was a tentacle hole there, wasn't it? And I never saw a tentacle from it. And yeah, that's why this barricade exists, because there was one of the whole tentacles coming out from there, and we had to barricade it to keep that tentacle in. So, you know, man, it'd be a real shame if, you know, some guy had to come through here and make a rigged explosion with some thermite and a shock pad, right? So yeah, that's why it is. I think that's a nice detail, right? And, you know, it's kind of a rule if you have a prequel that you've got to show why things are the way they are. But I like how this prequel doesn't go overboard with it. Like, some prequels and origin stories feel that they have to justify the existence of every single little aspect about characters or stories. I'm looking at you, Solo, a Star Wars story. But I don't think this one did that too much, you know, just small things like, why is the power cell out? Because someone took it out. That makes sense. And, oh dear, I see the big glowing ball of death. Yep, the exploders are in this one too. And, they are quite relentless. And it's especially tough in this one when there's a bit of a difficult judge of, you know, how far away is an enemy where it can actually be in attack range. You've probably noticed that there's been some enemies that are like far away and somehow they're still able to hit you, right? Oh yeah. The exploders aren't as scary in this one because they don't really make as much of the sounds, you know. Warren, I don't know. He's seeming very sus. And similar to Dead Space 1, if you're putting together the chapter titles, you're gonna notice that the chapter titles spell out Warren lies, because he is a unitologist and he has a plan for all of us. So had to leave Nicole behind on the medical deck because she wants to help out people and stuff, and we're gonna try to go find a way off the ship, you know. Seems the most sensible thing. It's kind of sad, you know, it makes Nicole show that she's just really devoted to her job and her mission to help people, right? And she did that all the way to the end. So, chapter 6 is the sewer level. Oh boy. You know how people hate sewer levels in video games, right? Why? Because sewers are gross, they're dark, they're damp and wet, and there's usually lots of like really grotesque enemies. Like, name one game where there was a sewer level that you like enjoyed, right? Or should I say, like, I don't know, like, I enjoy the sewer part in the Resident Evil 2 remake, but it's also really dark and creepy, and you got those like weird G-virus monsters coming up out of the water with no warning, and And you got the G fight with the crane. He's annoying because you got a very small maneuverability space, you know, sewer levels. So we've got a sewer level now. I mean, it's definitely cool to be seeing a new segment of the Ishimura that we hadn't seen before, right? Because every other place we visit is in the Ishimura. It's either a place we saw before, or it's, heavily inspired by or based off of something we saw. And that familiarity is cool, and it's used to good advantage. But I think this is the one level that's more truly original. And jump scare, obviously, coming up, because there's a weird dead body that we're getting close to. And, yeah, this, like, weird vine monster things adapting to their environment. Yeah. I mean, pretty sure you'd want to use a plasma cutter for those guys. Nice wide beam, easy shot, but also I just want to save ammo, right? That's why I try to get good with the Rivet Gun, which is pretty good in this, but I mean, I've never used it in Dead Space 2 because it was like a pre-order DLC exclusive thing. And of course, I didn't play on PC. If you played Dead Space 2 on PC, they just gave you all the DLCs because reasons, but we'll talk about that, I think, when we get to that game, perhaps. You got a nice big sewer fight here, and here's where I'm annoyed because explosion guys all of a sudden show up, and those timed moments, I'm like, well, do I look left? Do I look right? You don't give me enough time to look both ways. I don't like it. It's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Oh, you're close. Yeah, here. I'm like, bastard caught me reloading and hit me from a lot farther away. So here we go. Kind of got a more central open area. Again, this is not a fun level, and it's also a very lengthy level too. It just seems like we're constantly going through hallways and the waterways and just more and more enemies. And now, just to top it off, we've got the infected necromorphs, who also are immune to stasis in partial cutscenes. I guess on the topic of cutscenes, I noticed, well, this whole game is essentially a cutscene in some way, but since it's all first person, there's not really a stylization to it. Like, I want to try to elaborate on the point I made in Dead Space 1. It's that you'll notice in Dead Space 3, like an enemy shows up or an event happens, and for every single bit, like, there's a scripted cutscene, and the camera moves away from the third-person perspective to, like, zoom across to the other side of a room so you can get a close-up look. It's very, like, stylized. That never happens in Dead Space 1, and in Dead Space 2, there's, like, one moment. And here, since it's all first-person, there's not too much of that either. And wow, once again, Lexine is the damsel in distress, right? It's a good thing there's not like a pendulum bomb or something, or a device that deploys anti-worm measures, right? Because I'm not going to participate in this damsel in distress trope. So again, many fights later that I just don't need to include because it's nothing special. We get the actual first boss in this game, and I be honest, I don't remember what the official names of either of the two bosses in this game are. There's the sewer monster and the outer space monster. And this scientist, let's remember her for later. She's going to be important. Dr. Howell, agricultural engineer. She's got a nice accent. I like her. Yeah, I don't remember this boss fight. What is it? Let's quickly do the interwebs before this next part starts. Computer, search, dead space, extraction, bosses. By the way, I do my research before I make these videos. You know, I'm a very professional YouTuber, by the way. Okay, the Urchin. The Urchin, that's what this one's called. And then, what's the other one? I don't know. Yeah, this fight, I warn you, is going to be quite embarrassing. You see, I screwed myself over for this fight. And that's because I, oh, what's the other ones? The spider. The spider's the other one, so the urchin and the spider. Yeah, I screwed myself over in this fight based on the guns I picked up, and part of me even considered restarting. Remember how I talked about how you always want to have a pulse rifle? Something that you can spray and pray? That's because, basically, this boss, you see, it's like it opens up the big glowy part, right? And of course, you shoot the big glowy part. That's, you know, very standard video game stuff, right? But you'll notice the time you have to shoot it, it's not very much. I kind of am getting half decent at aiming here, but it gives you like a second or so to shoot it, and if you miss or you're reloading, it hits you and does a lot of damage. So I have the Rivet Gun, the Contact Beam, the Line Gun, and the Force Gun. Force Gun is short range. Line Gun, the wave particle travels very slow, so you can't use that to hit accurately at a distance. And the Contact Beam is a charged shot with very little ammo and requires pinpoint accuracy. So basically, I had to be like extra particular about the accuracy for these shots. So you can see what I'm doing. Again, it's pretty standard stuff. You just wait until the game gives you the opportunity to stasis the fan. The tentacle follows you in, and then shoots at you. And then you gotta do this for both of these tentacles here. But again, pinpoint accuracy, which I'm not very good at. You know, I'm a spray and pray kind of guy. So if I had the pulse rifle, this would probably be a lot more straightforward. You'll see that other boss fight later, the spider, that one goes a lot more smooth for me. Because I knew what I was getting into, so I was more prepared for it. But yeah, I'm not even going to show you the entirety of this fight, because there's a good chunk of it where like I'm just trying to do one part and failing at it because I have just the worst setup possible. This first part is not so bad. It's this next part that I just could not do for the life of me. And it's like these barrels pop up here, and you gotta kinesis them, right? Otherwise it's gonna grab you. So here he grabs you, right? And then you just gotta shoot the mouth of it, right? So it's about 2 line gun shots you see there, just on it. So you kinesis it, and nope, that was a miss. So now I'm gonna get grabbed, and I gotta shoot it again. And so here I thought, well, can I use the Rivet Gun? And no, this is not working. That took at least like 4 Rivet Gun shots. So okay, let's try this. And nope, you don't hit there. You gotta kinesis it at the tentacle. Alright, well, Force Gun's powerful at close range. Let's try it. Nope, so 2 line gun shots. Alright, so there. I want you to note where I fired that one. I fired it about midway through the tentacle. So that one didn't count, as you see. And I get two line gun shots, but I don't want to waste my ammo. So I'm like, okay, so you gotta hit the tentacle. That didn't count either, apparently. And this is the part that took me like forever to do. And I have no idea how I still beat this boss on the first try. I, for the life of me, could not make this tentacle shot. Even there, where it was like nearly directly on it. I have no idea how I made the first tentacle shot like right away. And how I messed it up. And I also don't know why 3 contact beam shots is not as powerful as 2 line gun shots. Later, or no, I guess there's a brute fight. I always forget about the brute fight. I guess there is 3 bosses. But the brute fight, I use the contact beam and it seems like it has no effect. So there we go. That was the one that did it. I had to aim a little higher. And unfortunately, this fight is still not over. So now this like fast back and forth little blob thingy that's just like going out of its mind, we have to shoot while it's trying to shoot a bunch of explosive pods. And you gotta hit it more than once. So I think I just got lucky here. You know, I was just firing at random and stuff. Honestly, it was a very bad boss fight. I'm kind of embarrassed to show this footage. I had to use a revive pack. I nearly died a second time. And again, I cut out a whole bunch of failed attempts of shooting that kinesis canister because you also can't see where you're aiming because the canister takes up like your whole field of vision. Yeah. And you know what? Despite all that, everything we did, I somehow got 5 stars on that mission. How did I get 5 stars with that performance? Like, how is my accuracy still 70%? I guess because I found most of the hidden stuff. I don't know. I got 5 stars on that mission. I ain't questioning it. You know, that's just how it is, I guess. So yeah, don't follow this video as a boss guide for the Urchin fight because that was very brutal. I'm so embarrassed right now. Anyway, this will now bring us to chapter 7. And now we're going to be playing as this Dr. Howell, right? Dr. Karen Howell, agricultural engineer. I also love her accent too, again. Love all the accents, right? I'm a sucker for accents. And it's definitely a little random that we all of a sudden switched to this different character, but it's definitely pretty cool. I feel like this was basically the chance for the game to let us almost play as Dr. Cross from Hydroponics of Dead Space 1. I think it would have been cool if we also maybe met Dr. Cross or Jacob Temple. Maybe a missed opportunity. Yeah. Did you see that? I saw that. Nope. It's just vision. People be cray-cray. But hey, the thing we like about Dr. Howe is she's got the Ripper. And, you know, I wasn't fully in love with the Ripper in Dead Space 1. It's good, and it's got its fans, that's for sure. Not my personal favorite, but a Ripper in this game I think is quite useful, and there's a reason that they save this as the last gun that you unlock. Jump scare, probably, obviously. Yep. Look at this fool. He's still using his Rivet Gun. Use that Ripper and do some real damage. Trust me. But goodies first. Always the goodies. Alright, I got this next part showing up for you because, again, I want to show you some Ripper action. Rip and tear until it is done. I see three guys. I'm like, alright, now it's time to pull out the Ripper. And hey, would you look at that? It's pretty good. See, it's also useful, more helpful in this one because, you know, in Dead Space 1, the whole point is the enemies, they're running up directly to you, and they couldn't always be stun locked by the Ripper. But in this one, you know, there's kind of like a set distance that they stay at when they're attacking you, and the Ripper's usually a good amount for that. And hey, Lexine's still alive, of course. Yep, I know, it just seems like everything's out to specifically get her. But maybe because she's the one, the Oracle. God, I really wish they had explained more of that in the other games, but, you know, like most plot points and plot threads from Dead Space 2 and stuff, they were thrown out in Dead Space 3, unfortunately. They really pulled an Alien 3 on that one. So yeah, again, I guess I lied about two bosses. I always forget about this brute fight. But yeah, there's a brute. It should be memorable for me. Because this is the one where I kind of started to question, like, A, is my aim off? B, is my, like, does the contact beam even work? So I stasis it, I run behind, I aim at the big glowy part, and contact beam. Okay, alright, I heard it. You know, it's, you can't shoot it from the front, right? It's too armored, so wait till it gets close. Stasis it, and we move, and then... What? What? Now, I don't claim to have perfect eyesight and everything, but to my view, I think I was directly on the big glowy part there. That's 4 shots I've put into it there, where it seems like it's done nothing. Again, I understand these ones that, you know, it's the front of it, but, like, am I supposed to aim below it? Well, no, it flinched there. I am damaging it. Oh god, kinesis. Nope. So this is where I was kind of like, well, maybe I should try the Ripper instead. And look at that. That seems like it actually has an effect. You know, there's like explosions and stuff, right? I don't know. Now it's just shooting pods. And looks like if you're timing right with your melee, you can just detonate them ahead of time. I also have to remember that there's not really a drop to this. Like, you kind of had to arc your kinesis shots in Dead Space 1, but here you can be a little more direct with it, as you can see. And there we go, that's the brute down. Yeah, I don't know, the contact beam on bosses, which is what it should be for, seems very underpowered. I don't know. It's okay, we got some ripperonage. After that, there's just more wandering around and more fights and stuff. But, hey, you know, you gotta see kind of like the hydroponics food growth area, right? Oh, beautiful shot. Lots of lurkers, right? And again, see, Ripper and constant melee spam. Great combo. It's just, I also feel like this is a gun where they don't give you too much ammo for it, right? You pretty much almost want to pick up every gun that it gives you, because otherwise you just, I don't know how the ammo works. If it like, you know, only gives you ammo for the guns you have or not. And here you go, more of hydroponics. Again, always cool to see. It was a pretty sweet area. Arc welder, great gun. Wish they could have had that in Dead Space 2, but they, I guess, in a way, had it in Dead Space 3 with the lightning guns in that. And then here we are, back at the main hydroponics area, which you remember as the hub area in Dead Space 1. And there we go, we're back with everyone. Yeah, I'd run too. And like, big giant tentacle monster. Nope, not today, Satan. Quite the team. I see that there's danger in the air purity. I guess the Leviathan's there. But, you know, again, did it enter from space, or was it here? They say something latched itself onto food storage. I don't know. I wonder if it's like an alien nest thing where they just brought a whole bunch of bodies until it made that thing. I don't know. And, of course, there's the big mistake, is leaving the secondary asshole character as the keep this person safe. Zabar, you're just like, do I want to be left alone with Eckhart? I don't know. Warren Eckhart, Executive Director, Lighting Operations. So it's interesting. I think this was all about the fact that the marker was discovered as they transferred Eckhart here. And then, right, she had her assistant, and the next she was found working with a grad student who spent her lunch hour praying to the marker. So the whole thing is that Warren specifically put a whole bunch of unitologists on the staff mission so that they would be, you know, more likely to go through with the whole finding of the marker, which is interesting because, you know, originally it just seemed like, oh, there just happens to be unitologists, a lot of them, it's widespread, but here it seems it was more of a deliberate action on their part to secure the marker. And, yep, the asshole leaves us to die. And this is kind of brutal in a way. It's just like, oh, we get grabbed away by the tentacle and that's it. I guess we did. So, sorry, Dr. Howell. We knew you for too little. But yep, Warren lies. He's a unitologist with his own agenda for the marker. Next, this brings us to Chapter 8, where we gotta find a way to get out of this mess. But now, we're going to be playing as Gabe Weller. So, of course, that means that now I have none of my guns. I mean, they gave me a flamethrower there, I guess, which was nice. You know, flamethrower's good. You want to play a fun drinking game? Take a drink every time Tars says such and such gun is underrated. They can't all be underrated, otherwise then they'd just be, like, rated. Shoot 'em. Shoot 'em. Right now. Shoot 'em. Just make sure it's a headshot. What scum I know, right? Very, very sus indeed. But no, game doesn't let us do it. Alright. Big fight going on, but we're getting on the tram. This part I don't like, because this part here, it's like they all of a sudden throw an exploder at you, like, close range, and I'm just like, how are you supposed to get rid of him without him detonating on you? Like, you'll see what I mean coming up, right? It's just all of a sudden, and there. Ow. That actually didn't hurt me that much, though, surprisingly. And I guess he did make the weird, creepy sound, you know. It's just a bit different when, like, you can see all the exploders coming, you know, as opposed to being in a giant room, running around and hearing them and not seeing them. And there you go, we made it on the tram. We're safe. Yay. And I also like that they have all of the correct ad placement. You know, they definitely studied their game, right? There's always Pang, Lonely, try the Space Center, and the Light Speed bar, right? Light Speed to Milo statue, whatever it is. You know, again, I've kind of, I don't want to say I've, you know, talked bad about this game, but part of it was definitely a disappointment because, you know, as someone who, you know, really got into Dead Space, played it like the day it came out, because I was so hyped for that game. You know, big fight in a shuttle bay, of course, right? Just gonna let you see a bunch of ownage of different guns here. Like, I was hugely hyped for Dead Space when it was coming out. I like saw all the footage and trailers, and I was like, oh, it looks like really scary, and you know, I'm a huge Alien fan. Just everything about it looked absolutely fantastic and really scary, and you know, it was definitely a very intense experience. And so I was always holding out for a sequel. And then when I got word like, oh, there's going to be a prequel, I was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, cool, I'm hyped for it. I'd probably played through like Dead Space 1 like several times at this point. And then I find out, oh, it's a prequel and it's a Wii game. And I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks, you know, like, thankfully, like, a family member of mine had a Wii at the time that they weren't using that much, so I was able to get the Wii version of the game and play it. I gotta include this because here's a brutal death for this guy, and that's what you get for camping, right? Maybe it's a legitimate strategy, but only for me, because I'm the protagonist. I do believe he lost his head. But yeah, it was definitely, you know, not what I was hoping for, right? I mean, maybe not the best comparison. I'm not really a Halo person because obviously I'm on PlayStation, not Xbox. But you know, the people were really hyped for, you know, what did ODST, the Orbital Drop Shock Troopers, whatever it is, did that come out between Halo 2 and Halo 3? Or was that after Halo 3? I just remember kind of feeling that the concept of that was something that it was like an interesting thing, but not really the thing people wanted. But then they got Halo Reach, which I know everyone really enjoyed that one, right? And here we go. We get back to Eckhart after fixing like the grav tethers, and we're like, what's going on? No trust. Very sus. Right? I like how I shot him there, and he's like, how dare you? Nice timing. Let's see what he's talking about. Let me see your message. Oracle. Enigma Lang. Again, this whole thing was an experiment, right? Like, these markers were placed here, hidden away, right? Man-made markers. The Ishimura wasn't supposed to discover this, but when it was found that they were there, the kind of idea was, okay, we're going to stand back, wait, and observe, see what happens. And I guess, well, Eckhart was sent here to observe the marker effects, and then he finds out about Lexine, and she's immune to the power of the marker. And, of course, this guy, in classic villain speech, you sly dog, you caught me monologuing. I'm not, and again, I don't really know what this was all supposed to mean. Right? Like, what was the whole idea with the Oracle program and someone being immune to the marker? What was going to happen? And how does this fit into unitology? Right? Like, is the idea, I guess, that those who succumb to the madness are those who are unworthy, and that means she's the Messiah. Love that this guy gets caught monologuing, just literally gets cut off midway through. And it's a fun moment, you gotta kinesis your gun to have your last stand there. That's nice. I don't know about nobody deserves to die like that. I think this guy kinda deserved it. We don't deserve it, though. We like Gay Weller. Gay Weller's a beast. So yeah, it's a pretty straightforward, short chapter. But yeah, I just, anytime I talk about Lexine's story and Weller and McNeil, I just get disappointed that it literally went nowhere. Like, it got completely dropped for Dead Space 3, but I guess that's a rant I need to save for those. That footage of that game. And I've got a lot of footage for that game, because it's a longer one. So, plenty of time to rant about those sorts of things. But yeah. So now we're back as McNeil, which means I've got all my guns I had before, so that's good. I didn't lose them. And, I guess this is in a way backtracking, because we're all just going to go through the same area we had before, right? Yeah. Alright, here we are. Let's go. But first, we got a message. And, yeah, here's where they're going to see Nicole's outgoing message about her killing herself. And again, so this message is being sent now, and then we're going to go and fix this shuttle and escape, and I'm assuming that's going to take like an hour or something. There's not really gaps in this, so it's all real time. But then the Kellyan's already here. I don't know. Again, there's no real official timeline for this event's given, but it breaks the timeline of, in my mind, about how I thought things were occurring. So, well, whatever. But yep, Joel's dead. Sadness. I mean, I guess that's a, peaceful way to go, but, you could get turned into a necromorph now. I don't know. Oh no. Weller's dead. This is the part where if I could drop a med pack, I would, but I can't, so sorry, dude. Goddamn unitologist. Big goddamn hero shepherd. So, yeah, we have the shuttle. It's ready to escape. But the main thing is we need to disable the ADS cannons. Otherwise, we're probably going to get shot to hell. Because if we put me in charge of covering the turrets, it's not going to go too well. So, that's the plan. I gotta get to the bridge and disable the ADS cannons. Sorry, Isaac. Yeah, this is quite a lengthy level. Just to illustrate, most levels I'd say I had about 20 minutes of footage, right, of just recording the whole level, excluding the Urchin fight. This level, including the boss fight, which is not that bad, I had like 40 minutes. I was just kind of like, geez, how long is this going to go on for? Look at this, like, you see some of the crazy hallways they give you, like, they really load you up with, like, every type of enemy. Alright, we got the lurkers, leapers, pregnant, exploders, regular necromorphs, the regular slashers. They're just throwing everything at you, right? You really need to be on point with all of your weapon selections here. And we're going back into the fence. Oh god. This is a fun moment coming up here because, I saw that necromorph. I'm like, okay, that's gonna be a fake death, right? Can I shoot him out of time? And I didn't notice there was an audio log there till afterwards. I'm like, oh wait, audio log. And right as I grab that, I'm like being attacked, and I'm like, look, do you mind? I'm a little busy trying to read some lore, right? He was just trying to tell us the lore of the land, you big green monster. Hey, that's just my physical appearance. And this is a very nice, spooky bit. You can't hear it, of course, but you're just like hearing this weird, garbled radio transmission of the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star from the Dead Space trailer, right? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. And then it's just got real dark morbidness to it. Twinkle, twinkle, all the night. Yeah, it's a very spooky bit, very atmospheric. And these are the moments that I really like this game for. I don't get what it's supposed to be, but I'm just like, oh god, that's a swarm, right? Piss off. Okay, are we done? Are we done? I think we're done. Okay, good. But yeah, I guess it's always, in a way, somewhere like we hear it from the weird pumpkin head glowing Nicole in Dead Space 2, and now I'm trying to remember, was it actually in Dead Space 1 apart from the trailer? I'm mind blanking on that now. I thought this was a kind of a cool set piece moment. There's like a stasis recharge modules here. And just the idea is that, like, you gotta, like, the webbing here is falling, so you gotta, like, stasis this fan. Otherwise, you're gonna fall through and fall into the fan. And it just happens a couple times, and there's stasis recharges so that you don't run out of your stasis, because it just automatically recharges in this, as opposed to Dead Space 1 where you had to find stasis stations. That's a cool little moment, There's lots of cool little moments in this chapter, even if it is a very lengthy one. Like another cool moment we got is this little tramp moment, and if you remember how I always thought the little tramp bit in chapter 8, the communications section of Dead Space 1 was a little kind of random. Well, like, hey, now we've actually got like some kind of like a bit of a turret bit with like these laser blasts, right? That's cool. Of course, it is kind of annoying trying to aim when like this takes up a large chunk of your field of vision, right? But I think for the most part, Wayne was relatively alright, It's cool that they actually managed to incorporate a little bit of gameplay into it, right? I always thought it was random how it's just like, oh, there's a dead body hanging and jump scare music, but not really. So, cool little moment, that's for sure. That kinesis grab, though, very impressive. Another nice, cool little scare moment here. This one definitely made me jump. So again, jump scare warning. Everyone's just there, and they all look at you, and then I'm gonna go here. Oh, you're right in my face. Okay, hi. I definitely panicked at that one. And here I thought I'd show you just one nice, big, long kill room fight. Because again, you don't get too many of those in this game. But when they happen, when they give you all the explosive canisters, it is quite nice. So, ah. Oh, I missed. Well then. Good thing I brought my spray and pray weapon. It's definitely going to go a lot more smooth than that zero-G therapy encounter, right? Yeah, this is the part where you just get some rooms where the game throws, like, I feel like 2 of every enemy at you. And I dig it, And I feel like they ditched a lot of the cool creative enemies in later game series and stuff, which is kind of unfortunate. This guy was definitely going for a face grab, and no you don't. Get back, get out of here, get him out of here, get him out of here. Oh, you're close. Hi. You lovely, thick one, Are you done? Okay, good. And I don't have too much else to say, Fuck the game, it's just, it is what it is, right? Though, I don't know how that counted as a body shot. But it's okay, I got mines. I think they helped, maybe. That was not the best idea. Why did I do that? I really wish I could have gotten some more arc welder use, but I just felt I was always low on ammo and there was potentially better options for guns to use. And I hope the quality of the video has turned out alright. Let's see, I actually recorded this last after the other 3 Dead Space games, and that's because, well, part of me was wondering if I actually needed to bother with it, So I'd like to think I'd gotten the hang of adjusting the brightness to a half-decent level and adjusting it based on the capture, not necessarily my TV. But, you know, I'm sure you can let me know about that. Yeah, more marker dementia and stuff. Sure, Force Gun, right? Why not? Force Gun's good. I like Force Gun. I feel like it's barely in this game. Maybe because they knew how overpowered that it was in Dead Space 1 and 2, right? But if anyone knows, like, did the writing staff or did anything like that change in between the first two Dead Spaces, Extraction and Dead Space 3? I'm wondering what would be the reasoning for dropping lots of plot threads and it kind of going in a completely different direction, right? That's usually how it is, right? Like changing the writing staff on Mass Effect or an Alien. And, this is a good scare here, you know? Alright, jump scare. Obviously that's reference to the fact that Captain Matthias was killed with a needle accidentally by Dr. Kyne when he was trying to sedate him. So, of course, one of those cannons is still active, so we gotta go out and disable it. And I included this bit because, you know, remember how you never had an enemy jump you in an elevator in Dead Space 1, like a regular normal elevator? Well, jump scare coming up. There you go. He's in the regular elevator there, right? That's a pretty clever bit, right? Wouldn't have expected that to happen. They did a really good job of that in Dead Space 2. All you need to do is have one enemy jump you in an elevator, and then that's it for the rest of the game. You're going to be expecting it to potentially happen again. And I have a pulse rifle here, so I am set for this boss fight. Like, I always felt the pulse rifle, as fun as it was more of an afterthought in Dead Space 1. You know, the idea was that they wanted to reinforce that Isaac was an engineer, not a soldier, and so every kind of weapon that he had was a mining tool of sorts, you know, or at least modified in some way. And that the pulse rifle was then just kind of there to be like, well, you know, I guess it still makes sense to have a pulse rifle, right? And you know, we see the soldier guys, security people, they've got pulse rifles, so if Isaac could get his hands on one, he would. But here, in a game where it's all about accuracy and aiming, you definitely need that sort of thing. So this answers the question of why was this one cannon so uncooperative with being fixed and stuff like that? Well, gee, maybe it was because some other guy who really wanted to escape the ship decided to deactivate it, you know? Oh god, I'm so glad I didn't have to do that with motion controls. That looked pretty brutal. So yeah, sorry, Isaac, you have yourself a fun time fixing that later on then, right? Good. Fun prequel moments. So yeah, we're just gonna jump our way back and nothing else left to worry about. Nothing bad's gonna happen. This is also a pretty clever time to play some boss fight because, you know, this part of the original game, the whole thing was you had the intense bit to get to the ADS, right? And they kind of did that here too, you know, all the zero-G jumps and fighting lots of enemies. But here, this time, they kind of mess with the fact that you're in this false sense of security, thinking that, you know, you're just on your way we've got ourselves a full-on boss fight happening, Mole Sucra. And yeah, I guess this is just called, like, the spider boss, or the spider or something. I mean, part of me wonders if this is like an early version of the slug boss, right? Kind of a similar location. You encounter it out in space, this big tentacle thing, but it definitely looks different from the slug, so I don't know. Yeah, no kidding, right? So yeah, this one, similar concept, you know, it like raises up the big yellow glowy thing and you shoot it. And the spray and pray weapon makes it a lot easier to deal with. Yeah, I basically remembered to have pulse rifle because I remembered this fight from doing it in the Wii version. I just remembered how much of a cakewalk it was. And this part you're supposed to shoot all the little glowing pustules that pop up, but if you just have the force gun, you don't even need to aim, right? You just spam it and they show up, and it like puts out all these glowy bits, and again, like, look at that, right? It does spawn leapers though. They're bad. But I guess I had to get the one last thing there, and it got a hit in at me, right? So again, just pulse rifle, right? Why not? I think in part of this fight, I like switch around to some of the different guns, like the line gun, and that's because I didn't want to make it too easy on myself. But then I just kind of reverted to the pulse rifle because I was like, you know, just why not, right? Do I want to make this any harder on myself, or do I want to just get it over with as fast as possible so we can get on to a better game, one that's much more enjoyable of an experience? I am curious if there is anyone that actually prefers Dead Space Extraction to any of the other games, or at least how people feel about it, Extraction versus Dead Space 3. Because, spoiler alert, despite the many issues I have with Dead Space 3 conceptually, I actually still really enjoy it. And it might actually be the game that I've played the most, basically because it's very easy to kind of jump in to it to different spots, because it actually has a level select, and the co-op's fun, and there's a lot more replayability in terms of figuring out what guns you want to use, the weapon crafting. And the Extraction's definitely the one I've played the least. You know, because it just didn't really bother. But yeah, just curious thing if anyone feels that way. Again, I kind of get it either way. What you think on that? Yeah, again, I keep talking about the other Dead Space games, not the one we're actually on, right? But again, do you see with this fight? Like, I don't know. I'm just wondering how you would do it if you were like trying to do a Rivet Gun only run, or you know, if you didn't have your pulse rifle, because that's just my main strategy for this fight, right? Yeah, and a lot more straightforward than the Urchin fight. That fight just feels like, you know, a giant screw you with the tentacles moving all over the place, and, you know, giving you all these pinpoint accurate guns, when that's the complete opposite of what the fight is. This one, like, right before you go out into space, it gives you a pulse rifle. The game's basically saying, like, you should take this. This is what you need. But, you know, that's how it is. So, you'd think everything is fine and dandy and stuff like that, but it's actually not the case. Because just decided to come back for one last assault. And ow, that's bad. So did you ever see 127 hours? Alright. Oh dear, yeah, so like a bear chewing off its own leg, that's what we gotta do. You gotta hack through your own arm to escape. Oh god. Like, it's just a Wii game, you know? It's not in any kind of fancy HD and stuff like that, but I think they still managed to put some real brutal moments in this one like that. And hey, 5 stars. Very nice. So that brings us on now to the final level, Chapter 10. So Chapter 10 is interesting because there's not like a final boss or anything. It's just basically a huge, big survival fight in the shuttle bay, right? Like scenes patching us all up, back to being Weller. And, I don't know, she's using like a phone or something. Like, didn't she just use Wriglings? I don't remember. I don't know how this works in this universe. And, yeah, we're just basically gotta fend off wave upon wave of necromorph, and, you know, it's kind of funny with all of the necromorphs we kill. I'm kind of wondering how the Ishimura was still so full of necromorphs and Isaac shows up, when I feel like we killed a pretty big chunk of the population on this ship, you know. Here we go. It's the final countdown, you know. It's definitely a cool fight. Yeah, they throw a whole bunch of necros at you, but I think it definitely lacks a little bit of the same intensity that the final bits of the other games have, you know. Here, it's just, you know, the urgency is to get away, right? But mainly just so we can get away. I don't know. Anyway, let's kill a whole bunch of necromorphs now, right? Get some Ripper action going on. Oh, beautiful. I told you, Ripper in this game is like the overpowered beast that I always had heard it was. Yeah, no, I guess I didn't show too much gameplay or fights. It was mostly story bits, but I guess that's kind of how it is. Otherwise, I'm gonna run out of things to say and I'll just be repeating myself. I wonder where does this fall into alien relations, right? I mean, I guess this is like the Prometheus alien covenant in terms of connection, in that, you know, it's a prequel that many people were disappointed by, perhaps. I like Prometheus and Alien Covenant now, so I don't know. It was what I enjoyed. Man, I just cannot seem to get away with not popping all the pregnant ones, right? Did they patch the hitboxes in this? Ah, good old flamethrower. How did you get through my flamethrower, Soul? You just stop. So then, finally, we just got around to this area here. And this is the end. We stand in the doorway and we shoot a bunch of enemies, so I guess this is the grand finale. I mean, I guess logistically speaking, it wouldn't necessarily make sense to have a big boss in this area, and not really a fan of the bosses in this game anyways. They require you to just stasis and wait for the camera to allow you to move around, or require pinpoint accuracy when they've given you a bunch of, like, you know, slow firing big weapons. Oh yeah, Ripper in this game is where it's at. Yes. Just, there we go. Contact beam. Alright. Give me that sweetness. Let's go. And, don't fail me like you did during the brute fight, right? Oh, yeah. Now, that's how a contact beam is supposed to work. It's a very expensive thing to do in the other Dead Space games, but just sometimes you got a full-on contact on it, you know? It's the closest thing this game has to a BFG, right? Well, come on, look at that beauty, right? Who could not love that? Essentially, oh, that's a bad idea, but I'm going to do it anyways. I guess it worked. I don't know. But yeah, I got the Dead Space 2 Severed DLC in its own little video. I think I'm going to keep it separate so it doesn't mess with the flow of the primary Dead Space 2 events. And yeah, I don't know, like, again, I don't really care much for the gameplay style of this, but the gameplay is meh, but the story and the characters are good enough, so I don't know. It would have been nice to have seen how this could have been done if it was, you know, a proper release, an actual third-person one, like the others. Like this contact beam. Like, yeah, he's mentioned about how it's badass, and oh yeah, McNeil's a badass because he's one-handing, one-arming a contact beam. So we're contact beam bros. Yeah. That's it. Getting the foop out of here. One last wonderful explosion. I'm surprised that we didn't get any stowaways on this ship, you know. None of them clinging on the vacuum of space because they can survive in a vacuum apparently. But there we go. Escape. Yeah, it's weird. Spelled just like the word escape. And here's the last little Easter egg connection up there. Well, first I say, set a course for the sprawl. Right? That's the Titan space station. Space station on the moon of Titan, in orbiting Saturn, where the first planet crack took place. Just like good old times, partner. He was 2 days to retirement, right? Here's the last connection. The Kellyan is coming inbound right now. Any minute. Also, props to using the exact same audio. That's good. I'm wondering, is this the garbled message that they heard? Right? Because remember, they hear a garbled transmission. They're like, hey, it's a busted transmitter. You gotta send there. Isaac and I can fix it in 48 hours tops. I don't know. But again, like all horror games, we gotta have one last little moment. Right? It's like this. Well, what's this? There's those people, those red shirts that died. Death is not the end. The marker. And I guess it's meant to be that, like, because McNeil got, like, impaled by one of those, like, necromorph spikes, that he eventually turns into a necromorph. And so, you know, here it is, it's going to kill Lexi, and at the last minute she grabs a gun and shoots it. And that's the implication, you know, that McNeil became a necromorph eventually, and they had to kill him. We didn't know what happened, but then we got the Dead Space 2 DLC, Severed, where we find that they've been living on the sprawl, and Maxine got together, and that, they're still, the unitologists are still monitoring her as part of the Oracle program, and they wanted her child for some reason. But again, we never get to find out what happens with that, unfortunately, and yeah, it's just kind of sad, like, I would like to see where they're going, because the whole thing is that they had EarthGov, right, as like the main bad guys, and like the unitologists were their own thing in a way, right? And unitologists wanted the marker and Isaac and Lexine because the divine nature of convergence, and EarthGov wanted the marker because energy crisis, right, and lack of resources, and something like that, and we just never got to see where it all went, right? Instead, it was swapped out for big Cthulhu moon monsters, which it all relatively ties together with the retroactive continuity, but there's a few things I'm not sure about, like what's the role of a hive mind then? Is that just a moon that's not fully developed, right? I don't know. It is a reality of life that more likely than not, trilogies are not fully planned out in advance, and you just gotta go with that. Everyone complains about the Star Wars sequel trilogy. This is what happens when you don't plan out your trilogy. And there's another little trilogy that was not planned out from the beginning. It's a little obscure film you may have heard of called Star Wars, because they definitely did not plan out that trilogy from the start. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had the Death Star in the first one. The whole Luke and Leia being related thing wouldn't have come out of nowhere. And they wouldn't have kissed an Empire. And more importantly, Harrison Ford would have gotten Han Solo killed off a lot earlier than what he managed to get happen. That's just how it is, But yeah, anyway, I'm sure not as many people will watch this video as the other Dead Space ones, because, it's a small little Wii prequel, right, on PS3 instead. But, I felt it was important to have this included in its own way, and just to play through it again, because I hadn't really since Dead Space 2, basically, right? Like, I just never bothered. So, there, I've done it. That's Dead Space Extraction. Once this one is out, I'll try to get to work right away on the real meat of it. Dead Space 2. Right, that's the big one for me, at least. Right? And then Dead Space 3, which I feel like I'm just going to spend most of the time defending what I like about it. So all I ask is bear with me when we get to that. But, there you go, 5 stars again. Wow, very nice. I guess I did get better over time. Anyway, that's about all I've got to say. So that was Dead Space Extraction. Hope you all enjoyed that. Stay tuned for eventually, at some point, maybe possibly, more Dead Space games. I hope you all enjoyed that, and I'll catch you next time. Y'all have yourselves a good night.